Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build and release tension in your deep minimal house tracks. You guys have requested this one a bunch, and yeah, I'm going to be showing you some techniques behind it, the ideas behind it, and just really how to do it, like how to make a nice build up or a nice break that is going to sound really powerful then when you hit in the drop, and it's really going to drop strong. Now, to go along with this video, you can get this template, the one that you just heard in the intro. It's available right at the top of the description on my Bandcamp. This is great if you want to follow along, or if you just want to turn it into your own track, or get some new ideas for your next track. Yeah, this is a great way to support me as well if you guys are enjoying these videos. And yeah, let's dive in. So, as you guys heard in the intro, we have our little build over here, and then we have the drop over here. And so, the first technique that I like to try to do when I'm making these builds is to take out elements throughout the build rather than add elements. You know, in other styles of house, or like in just a lot of different styles of dance music, the way builds work is you add like a riser and like a kind of like building snare as well. And then that is what's going to build your tension kind of like underneath all your other elements. Maybe the other elements are automating a bit, something like that. With this style, you're not really going to do that. There are tracks out there that have the building snares, but I've never really heard like a riser or like a big pitch bending thing in one of these style of tracks. The way it really works, from what I understand, is it's more about the space in the track and more about like really focusing on particular elements. So what I mean by this is, you can see here like in the intro, so we have like this stuff happening. We have these 3 layers of percussion, we have like this organ and this operator thing, and then we get to the second half of the build. And you can see, we take out some of that stuff, we take out a bit of the percussion, then we get to this last like quarter here. And then it's literally just, my computer hates this project file, but it's literally just like that operator thing and then this FM stab. And then everything just drops out. Yeah, so it's like we're creating this big moment here with all these kind of like, jazzy elements happening. Then we come here and it starts to chill out a little bit. There's even more space in the track, so when you're hearing this, you're focusing more on like the 3 or 4, or I guess it's like 6 things it looks like that are playing here, but again, it's less stuff. And then you get here, and then it's really just focused on these 2 things, and then all of a sudden everything drops out and you just get. And then it hits super hard because when this comes, everything is coming in, and this is just like a standard drop. There's really not even that much happening in terms of like making it hit, but it's because we've been building for these 16 bars where it's like, okay, it's less stuff, then it's even less stuff, then it's like literally just almost nothing, and then we just get. So that's the thing. The build-ups in this style aren't really build-ups in the classical sense of like I said, like you're going to have a big rising snare, a big pitch-bending saw wave or something like that underneath it. But it's more so about taking stuff out, creating that space, creating that moment where people in the crowd are going to be going, woo! And then it drops and you give them exactly what they want. And then when it all drops in like that, it's very powerful. Even though these are still just like, again, like, pretty basic elements. It's a bass line, percussion, a few background things, and then just sort of like our little chord stabs here. But that sounds really powerful coming out of this. Versus like if we did try to have like a big riser and like a pitch bending snare and all that kind of stuff, then when you get to this part, it's going to feel like something kind of missing. And so yeah, that's the thing, is like this style, you really want to focus on creating space and just kind of like with the builds, focusing more on like, building with what you already have there rather than adding something new just for the purpose of doing a build up. Now, another thing here is creating that space, like I was saying, and if you notice like this little fill right before the drop, it's literally just a vocal going. I'm pretty sure there's some automation on that, like I automated this grain delay to come on. You can see that. But then this little fill here, it's not like a whole drum fill, it's not too much, it's literally just 2 notes, it's just. So I feel like that really exemplifies this idea. It's like we could go and get like some big long drum fill with like all that kind of stuff, but you just don't need it because that little is so much more powerful because it's giving it, like, again, this one really quiet little moment. You get a little bit of swingy percussion, and then everything hits. So if you really want to think about it, it's almost like, you should have the least amount of stuff right before everything hits. Like, we're working from, like, let's say maybe you would have your intro with, like, all the drums. Then you would get into this part. Then we're kind of, like, dropping more stuff, and you're just slowly easing the listener into it. Then you're literally just getting... and then it hits. And yeah, so... with releasing tension and, like, when it hits, it's going to be kind of a similar approach. You're not really going to have too much stuff in terms of, like, effects, like stuff like that when it hits. If you look here, all I really have is just this crash. It's all you need. It's just a little I don't even think it has, like, it doesn't even have reverb on it, It's just a dry crash. But that's all you need because, again, we've opened the track up. We've gotten to the point where it's almost nothing playing. So then just that crash with the bass line and with the stabs and with the hi-hats and stuff is enough to really feel, like, very full and very powerful. Just based on, like, again, not based on, like, trying to make this, like, big, drawn-out thing, but just what the track needs. All the track needs there is just a quick, just like a blast of high-end, and then... we're grooving. So yeah, you're going to kind of follow suit with what I was saying before with releasing tension as well. It's not going to be a whole lot of stuff because if we had like a big it's really just like distracting you, It's distracting you from all these, like, this great groove that's happening between all these elements. And especially because, like, your percussion is usually going to be a lot more busy in this style. Especially, like, once we get over to here. With that extra clap coming in. So it's like, just being smart about that as well. Like, when it drops, you don't want to take too much time. You want it to just be a quick psst, and that's really it. And that also goes back to sort of like the aesthetic of the style too, because if you think about it, like, there's not like a bunch of long reverbed out things in the style. Like, you're never gonna just have like something with like a super long reverb tail. It's usually very quick stuff. Like, if you listen to all these stabs, for example, it's like a quick, well, stuff like that. Like, you're not really gonna have a whole lot of long reverb stuff. So if you do have a big it's just gonna take up, like, it's just gonna feel weird. It's not gonna fit with the track. So yeah, and then you can also see, like, even over here at the end of this drop, you can hear it's the same deal as what I was saying with, building and releasing tension. Is like, we're just kind of opening it up real quick. And it's really just that clap that's doing the fill there. We just get a little... And then you hear the stabs on top as well. Like, we're letting them breathe. Like, you want to think more about, like the way I approach it is it's more like you're letting something breathe for a second rather than, throwing a fill in there and a little, like, reverse riser and stuff. Like, yeah, it's not really about that with this style. If you try to do that, it's going to feel kind of weird, and I think DJs aren't really going to play your tracks. And also keep in mind, like, we do have effects going throughout the track. Like, we have these two little sounds down here. Which are more just like little intermittent effects like this. Like, that's more like what you want. Like, little stuff like that that's providing ear candy in the background rather than, like big risers and big dropping and build snares and all the, like, quote unquote EDM things. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this one. Like I said, guys, in summary, this style is all about the space and all about, like, what you're doing with each individual element and kind of, like, focusing in on the groove. So if you do too much with risers and building snares and adding too much stuff right before the drop, it's really going to throw that off. But if you kind of do like this, focus more on, like, your build-up being taking stuff out and kind of opening the track up even more, and then literally just opening it to where it's, like, almost nothing, and then you drop, you're going to have a lot more success, and your tracks are going to feel a lot more powerful, and yeah, it's just going to work a lot better. So yeah, that is it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video, as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything like that is available right at the top of the description, so you can work with this and follow along with the video and really see like how these things work and how these build-ups are gonna work. And it's also a great way to support me. And yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.